all new seasons of your faves. Don't miss FX is Clipped, the story of an NBA team's racial reckoning starring Lawrence Fishburne. Stream a new season of Shoresy, the underdog hockey comedy that might just knock your teeth out. Then catch the high-speed drama Ferrari starring Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz. Kick your streaming into high gear this month with so much new stuff to watch on Hulu.
As the Elgin Police Department continues to participate in the Distracted Driving campaign, they wanted to share some tips from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website regarding safe driving. If you are expecting a text or need to send one, pull over and park your car in a safe location. Once you are safely off the road and parked, it's safe to text. Designate your passenger as your designated texter. Allow them to access your phone to respond to calls or messages. Do not engage in social media scrolling or messaging while driving. Are you struggling not to text and drive? Activate your phone's Do Not Disturb feature or put your cell phone in the trunk, the glove box, or the back seat of your vehicle until you arrive at your destination. Remember, the Elgin Police are conducting directed patrols to enforce distracted driving violations. Just drive and stay safe. A message from our friends at the Elgin Police Department and your friends here at WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
The Diamondbacks pounded the White Sox 12-5 in Phoenix. Christian Walker drove in 3 runs with a homer and a double. D-backs starter Jordan Montgomery struck out 7. Tommy Pham and Andrew Vaughn each had 3 hits for the White Sox, who out-hit the Diamondbacks 11-9 in the loss.
A swing, and there's a high fly ball. That's hit deep left field, and it is gone!
The Cleveland Cardinals radio 2-1 the win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field on Sunday. Miles Michael has cut the win. He improves to 5-6. He struck out 5 over 6 1/3. Jamison Taillon suffered the loss for the Cubs. 2 runs allowed on 7 hits over 6 innings. Pedro Pajes hit a 2-run homer for St. Louis, which improved to 4-1 against the Cubs this season by taking 2 of 3 over the weekend. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
This is Mike Golick Sr. Hulu is coming in hot this month with new shows, new movies, and all new seasons of your faves. Don't miss FX is Clipped, the story of an NBA team's racial reckoning starring Lawrence Fishburne. Stream a new season of Shoresy, the underdog hockey comedy that might just knock your teeth out. Then catch the high-speed drama Ferrari starring Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz. Kick your streaming into high gear this month with so
The Triple Berry Cafe of Crystal Lake offers incredible breakfast and lunch options for you, and now the coffee bar is open for you to enjoy. Stop in and enjoy a relaxing cup of coffee in a peaceful setting, and if you're hungry, the Triple Berry Cafe is ready to provide you with homemade goodness. Enjoy omelets, skillets, pancakes, crepes, waffles, and much more for breakfast. Stop in at the Triple Berry Cafe for lunch and enjoy signature sandwiches, burgers, wraps, salads, and healthy options are available as well. Triple Berry Cafe, just off Randall Road in Crystal Lake. Now with a coffee bar.
Hit the open road and experience the fresh air of Wisconsin at the Grand Stay Hotel and Suites in Mount Horeb. This award-winning hotel is just outside Madison. Mount Horeb is known as the troll capital of the world. Families can go on a troll hunt through the historic downtown or check out Cave of the Mounds just minutes down the road. The Grand Stay offers a beautiful pool and a hot tub with year-round fun. Visit grandstaymount.horeb.com today to schedule your visit.
Welcome to Out to Lunch with WRMN. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I'll be walking you through the next hour. Following me is Open Book with the Gail Borden Library. But today I've got a very special group of guys here with us. The Iverson fellas. We're going to go ahead and go to their camera. I'll reset mine at the break. But I appreciate you gentlemen being here with me today.
We appreciate you having us.
Yeah, it's wonderful that you're here. We got to hang out last week at a very special event. The for-profit film premiere, and you guys had a very major hand in getting that put together, if not a full hand, and then everybody else was kind of the the rest of it. But appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, we love to be here. Thank you so much. We were so excited to have WRMN at the premiere as a partner. You guys were essential to the event as well. And me and my executive producer here, Big Al Iverson, put on the event for everybody. It was a heck of a show. It was heaven of a show. It was great.
Exactly. So let's just get the Iverson out of the way. Do you guys get confused often in emails and stuff, and people just have to see you face to face before?
We never get confused in emails. I'm the father, and I have nothing to do with his emails, and he has nothing to do with mine.
Oh, okay. There it is. So we went to the Marcus Theater here in Elgin, and we got to see a fantastic movie. This is a phenomenal film for anybody who needs a message of motivation, who is there in the point of, am I on the right track? Is this my destiny? Or somebody who is being pulled a few different ways. Where is the path? What is something that's here? This message that you've brought together, Mark, you've both wrote and directed the film For Profit.
Yep.
Check out the website forprofitfilm.com. And this message of, am I on the right track, or am I listening to being on the right track? All of these different symbols that are here. What was the motivation in getting that message out? Why was that the message that you felt that you needed to put into a film?
I mean, it's personal. I struggle with that myself. You know, I think everybody does. Trying to figure out what their purpose is in life, trying to listen to your better angels. In this case, literally in the film. But, when it comes to that kind of a message, I took from my own life. Absolutely, 100%. I was inspired by my own struggles as an artist. As an artist, as a filmmaker, I have always gone back and forth. And as much as I want to say I'm 100% confident in my path, which I am, I don't think there's a true artist out there who doesn't struggle every day with, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing enough? Am I doing it right? Am I listening to my inspiration? Am I following true inspiration? And when it comes to my spirituality as well, which is obviously infused in this film, that's a big question always. Your faith, doubts are always creeping in. Doubts about your beliefs, doubts about who you are, doubts about the nature of reality, doubts about the spiritual world, and you have to always come back to center and always have to come back to faith and light. And that is the human condition. Angel on one shoulder, demon on the other. What are you going to listen to? What's the message you're going to follow? And it's certainly something where I don't think there is anybody who has seen the film that hasn't responded to it in that way, even if they don't like it. I mean, it's not every film is for everybody. I get that. But everybody, even if they don't really love my film, has definitely accepted, no, the message is universal. The message is something that everybody struggles with.
Go ahead.
Well, I just helped my son do the movie. I came and set up the breakfast when he filmed. It was all filmed in Elgin. And I really wasn't very familiar with Elgin, but I've come to realize it's a wonderful community and wonderful old town feeling in the U.S. outside of Chicago. And I learned a lot about Elgin and supported him. My wife and I did. And one thing I can say, it's a comedy drama, but it also has some faith parts And we showed it to our church group of about 60 youth, high school kids. And many of them came up to me and said, this is the first time I wasn't waiting for pizza after the movie or ice cream. They really were into it and asked a lot of very intelligent and deep questions, thought-provoking questions.
Mm-hmm. No. For Profit follows Damon Fisher, a seemingly normal man living in a seemingly normal suburb. He's having financial issues. He's having marital troubles. He's having major spiritual problems after the death of his father. All the while, his hometown is going straight to hell. All seemingly normal for a normal man. The thing is, there's a cameraman always following him, always filming, always recording, and always putting in his 2 cents. Is this a reality show? Is this a social media thing? So what I like about the classic of the 2 entities on the shoulders, right? The duality of the pool. You change this into a modern side of it, even to the point where you talk a lot about how this is a modern day It's a Wonderful Life because of that angel that nobody can see pulling back and forth on either side. Now, what you did with this to capture it, you made these 2 entities full size so that they were people. And even to the point, Damon is confused when he sees these people. Or these entities, they think they're real people. So is that part of the message of we're not necessarily sure? Like if somebody was little tiny and screaming on my shoulder, right, I would definitely go, okay, something's wrong with me. I need to figure something out.
Right.
But having these people full-sized and also speaking the same language and being a part of that,
right.
How was that a tool to kind of play off of that trope of the duality?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I always wanted it to be that this was something where he was struggling because, yes, these are real to him. These are extremely real to him. They are in his life every day. He is constantly being pushed and pulled and talked to by his demon, this cameraman always following him. And then when the angel comes in, he perceives her to be just like a regular human. Now, he realizes she's a little off at first, even thinks that she might be, somebody he had met at one of the homeless shelter or at the mental health facility. But he does definitely perceive her as a human being. Mm-hmm. And she and the angel, they actually, showcase himself as a human to engage with him. And that's something, that's biblical. That's something that I did a lot of research, theologically on this. And, when angels come, they do a lot of times come in the form of a human to you. Now, there's certainly times biblically where you have angels that appear as like giant wheels in the sky with eyes and lights and all this stuff, and there's certainly that as well. Mm-hmm. But many times when an angel comes, they come in the form of a human to help you and to help you so it's not as scary. Mm-hmm. There's many times in the Bible where angels come and it is very scary. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. But in this case, I really like the idea that it wasn't that. It was very gentle. It was very much that our main character is seeing these people as people. And he doesn't at first understand that they are spiritual entities. Mm-hmm. Now, the cameraman, the demon that he's been dealing with, he's known for a while that he's the only one that can see that. Mm-hmm. He's been dealing with it for years. He doesn't talk to anybody about it because he doesn't want anybody to think he's nuts. And it's something he only actually talked to his brother about it one time. Mm-hmm. And because of that, he knows that entity is an entity. It's a hallucination, whatever he thinks he's a little nutty, but he knows that that's not real at this point. But when the angel comes in, he does perceive her to be a real person. And I think that throws him for another loop. It's like, not only am I seeing this crazy, weird cameraman who's always talking to me and nobody else can see, now I have another person, entity that nobody else can see. It's very disorienting to him. And I think that's part of his journey, is that he needs to go down into the depths of his mind and figure out, okay, is this craziness? Is this spiritual warfare? What is going on here? Mm-hmm. And it's a big part of of his story to really figure out, okay, how can I rationalize what's going on to me, and how can I speak to other people about it and tell them what's going on without seeming a little nutty, which is the struggle, because people in the movie question, even his wife questions, do you need a psychiatrist? That's the thing.
A good point, too, is Mark mentioned it. He's sitting with his brother, and his brother seems to understand what he's going through to some extent. He's saying what's going on. He says, "Oh, the cameraman again." He says, "Yeah." And his brother doesn't doubt that he sees a cameraman, where everyone else perhaps does. His brother says, "Well, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to solve this? What can we do?" And his brother's a very interesting character in the movie. He's in need of some help, and he comes out okay at the end also.
Yeah.
So, and almost as contrast, before we go to a break, let's talk about Damon and James is his brother.
Yeah.
There's a contrast to this. Damon always has almost this apprehension to kind of fall into something, where James is almost to the point where he falls for anything.
Right. He's quick.
He's the other side of it.
Right.
So it's back to that message. What message am I going to follow? Where am I going to put my energy? Is my energy fighting against the current, or is my energy me riding the current and I just can't seem to find a direction?
Right.
And did you put kind of that duality in there so that not only James would be more of a plot device, but also have almost a layer to himself?
Absolutely. I mean, duality is one of the major themes of the movie, and whenever I could find it, I wanted to exploit it. And then the brothers, that's a perfect example. Yeah, you have our main guy, Damon, who seems, more straight edge. He's got more things together. He's married. He's running a business now. He went to college. He finished college. He seems to be more on track. And his brother James, he's been dealing with drug addiction. He's been here and there. He's been all over. He's hard to communicate with sometimes. And he finally comes back into the story clean now. But the brother James is certainly the one who is quicker to accept things and believe things, and to jump in with energy onto something, and whether it's when the main guy, when Damon is forced by the angel to go on the radio and talk about this possible corruption, he's the one who's the angel speaking through, and yet he's not sure about the words that he's speaking, if they're true or not. Whereas James, right away, he's like, I knew it. He goes to the protests. He's making signs. He's writing songs. He's leading the protest. He's right in 100%. And that's with their faith too. Or Damon, he's struggling with his faith. He's been struggling with his faith for many years since the passing of his father. And James now has deep faith, and that's what brought him out of drug addiction. And so he is 100% in with his spirituality. And so their back and forth, their duality is very much a big part of the film. And I think it actually worked really well with the chemistry of the two actors, Ben Martin, who played Damon, and Dennis Florine, who plays James. They had great chemistry together, and they worked really, really well together. And they too both have in their personal life, they both have deep faith, but they're both very different kinds of actors as well. Ben is very he sticks to the script. He loves the script. He wants to say the words on the page. And Dennis, he's trying things all the time. He's floating around. Many of his lines were improvised.
And that's his character.
Right, exactly. They were cast that for a reason in those roles.
And a big thing that the angel keeps saying to Damon is surrender. Surrender to your feelings. Surrender to what you know is right. And, well, come and see the movie and you'll see if he does.
Absolutely. AMC South Barrington here in the area, and also AMC River East in Chicago. And now I was just announced that it is going to be at the Classic Cinemas in Carpentersville.
That's right. We just heard today they're going to be showing it starting Friday, June 21st, this Friday, in Carpentersville at the Classic Cinemas there, the Carpentersville 12. And we're really excited.
Get your tickets, forprofitfilm.com. You can get them right there. Or, of course, you can go right to the AMC South Barrington or the AMC River East websites. Go ahead.
And the South Barrington theaters are sold out pretty much on Friday and Sunday.
That's right.
Where this new theater addition in Carpentersville, you can get your ticket and sit wherever you want.
Get your tickets now, forprofitfilm.com. I loved it. You're going to love it too. Check it out. More Out for Lunch when we come back from these messages. Stay tuned.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Renata's Old Salem Cafe is now Renata's German restaurant, with old family recipes for delicious Bavarian dinners. Renata's is also known for breakfast and lunch. Renata's German restaurant has fresh baked German pastries. For a hearty breakfast, try Renata's for pancakes, skillets, and more. They've also set the standard for catering excellence. Try Renata's German restaurant off Irving Park, west of Wise Road in Hanover Park. Visit renatasgermanrestaurant.com.
Michael Brown, former Undersecretary of Homeland Security and Director of FEMA, is your new full-time host of The Weekend, which airs every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN. Each week on the popular 3-hour program, Brown offers listeners a fresh take on the weekend talk with his provocative insights into current events, politics, and culture. So late in the day on Saturday, make it a point to catch The Weekend with Michael Brown right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
Ever take your car through the auto emissions lane only to experience the sinking feeling that your car has failed the test? Don't fret. Let Meineke at 376 Sundown in South Elgin fix the problem for you. Meineke's mechanics will determine the exact problem with your vehicle and suggest necessary repairs with Meineke's diagnostic service. Pass that test with help from the trained Meineke technicians. Call today for your appointment. 847-888-9644. That's 847-888-9644. In the mood for some great barbecue but just don't have time to make it yourself? Carry out Coleman's Barbecue on Elgin's East Side at 79 Clock Tower. Coleman specializes in ribs, tips, chicken wings, seafood, and sandwiches with sides like coleslaw, potato salad, and dessert. Try Coleman's Exotic Mild Sauce. It's the bomb. You can also buy sauce in gallon or pint sizes. It's prepared just right, the Coleman's way. Call 224-535-8153.
back to Out to Lunch. WRMN, WRMN1410.com if you want to go there on the internets. While you're there on the internets, go ahead and open up another tab. ForProfitFilm.com is the other website that you need to open up. All that information about an amazing film and the cast and crew. Today, I've got the writer-director and his father. That would be Mark Stewart Iverson. Thank you both for being in here today with me.
Thank you for having us, of course.
We did open the phone lines a little bit, 847-931-1410, and I believe George was there at the premiere, and he's got a couple questions just to ask you, if that's okay. Take it away, George.
Good afternoon, Dennis. Good afternoon, Mark. How are you?
Good, George. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Mark, we met briefly, and I told you I was there for the premiere, but I did not stay for the movie because I want to go. It's all about paying customers, so I'll be there on the 21st in Barrington. But a couple of quick questions, and I talked to one of the stars of the movie, that enchanting young woman, and she mentioned you were from UCLA. I don't know if you went to film school there, but really my question is, Mark, more than anything, who are your influences directorially, then and now as you progress through your career? I sense, I mean, the issues you're addressing, these are major existential issues. I sense a little Ingmar Bergman in there. Visually, maybe Tim Burton. Don't know. I could be 100% wrong. But I'm just curious, people you look up to, people you admired then and now.
Oh, wow. Great question. Well, first of all, thank you so much for going out to see it at the movies. That means a lot to us.
I'll be there the 21st.
Great. You already got your tickets?
Two friends with me.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. You know what? I'm old school. I'd like go there at the box office to get them, but if I need to get them in advance, I'll certainly do that.
Well, just to let you know, we're almost sold out at the AMC South Barrington. So.
Well, then you know what? Then when I hang up, that'll be my next call.
We are going to be open. We just found out we are going to be at the Classic Cinemas in Carpentersville too.
I heard. And that's a nice little theater.
Yeah, absolutely not too far from Elgin either. But great question. Yeah, you probably talked to our lead actress, Valentina Garcia. She's
so charming.
Oh, the most charming. She's absolutely incredible, whimsical, pops off the screen. She's got charisma.
She's obviously extremely beautiful. But all that aside, it's that beauty that radiates from the inside out, and she's so enchanting and so friendly and just really, really nice.
Yes,
she plays a really good angel.
Really nice human being. Yeah,
she does. She's perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say so. Perfect typecasting.
I know. Yes, I cast her because I had worked with her 10 years ago. So I did go to UCLA Film School, and
wow.
I'd worked with her on a project where me and a few other UCLA sketch comedy people did a web series, and she was in there. And then 10 years later, making this movie, I thought of her for the role. That's a great question though, about my influences. Absolutely. I mean, putting me in my work in the same sentence as Bergman and Burton. That's very humbling and very sweet of you. Certainly, those guys are very influential. I mean, what I always say is this is a modern day It's a Wonderful Life. Capra is absolutely a big influence specifically for this film. Absolutely incredible. If you even watch just as a film school student and really try to break down It's a Wonderful Life, it is visually stunning for the time. It is not, I mean, we're talking 1940s, what he does with the camera, what he does with staging and blocking, what he does with sound design. He was an absolute force of nature. And his...
I don't have to tell you this, Mark, but Dennis might not know. That movie was filmed in July.
Right.
Wow.
I knew that.
They're playing, I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
But, they're playing, they're filming it. It's supposed to be right before Christmas. It's cold.
Right.
It's snow. And they filmed it in the middle of July on a week or on a days like we're having today.
Yeah, I know. Movie magic. That's movie magic for you, even back then. Yeah, and that's extremely influential. I mean, his work, Capra's work. As far as, filmmakers that that really inspired me in general, a lot of them are more modern. I do really keep coming back to the Andersons, Wes Anderson and Paul Thomas Anderson, those guys are absolutely fantastic, extremely influential for me. I'm a kid of the 90s, growing up in the 90s, the DVD era, the independent film scene of that time. Very, very influential. Rick Linklater, big influence on me as well. The truth is, if I really want to be honest as well, when it comes to this film, and it might sound strange, but Kevin Smith was actually a big influence, and he obviously is pretty foul-mouthed and a little different in certain ways. But his movie Dogma, he's a Clerks guy. His movie Dogma is not only one of my favorite movies; it is one of my, in my opinion, one of the best films about faith that's ever been made. It is certainly, it's raunchy and it's got bad language and all these things, but it's about angels and demons. And it's about the struggle of faith, and it is extremely influential to me. I grew up, I loved comedy, I loved, movies, I loved this other stuff, and I struggled with my faith even early on. I had pretty good faith growing up, and then when I got into my late teens, I started to get that rational brain going, started to really question things. Like, I don't know about all this mumbo jumbo with the religion. That was one of the first movies I saw that really allowed me to laugh and go deep in spirituality, and it was something I really, really thought a lot about when making this film. Obviously, my film is a faith-based film and is for the family, absolutely, and his is not. But that said, the themes are there. And if I'm being honest,
very interesting.
It's, and I don't think, I wouldn't say that he is the greatest filmmaker ever, but I do think he is a very good writer, and I really think that film it's in my top 10. It's undoubtedly in my top 10.
As soon as you said Kevin Smith, I immediately went to the cadence of your dialogue.
Right.
Because that's a lot of what you've got. Because, like you've said as well, this is a dramedy almost in there. You make sure that there are hidden jokes in there as well, as far as the cadence and everything else.
Absolutely.
And then when you start talking about Dogma as well, I can think about the shots that are outside where they're just walking. It's just the two of them, and it's that dialogue and it's that moving blocking that you were looking at with this. The scene that you have in the parking garage. I think there's a few scenes that are in that parking garage, but you take it to the point where you can hear the cacophony of sound because you use a lot of sound in your film. Yeah. And in that parking garage, you can feel the oppressiveness of that sound in that parking garage while they're having that conversation. So there are some really, really good scenes. If you're looking at analyzing it as a film eye, George, absolutely, this is a wonder.
It's a great question, George.
And, Mark, growing up in the 70s, and I'm not a film savant, I'm nowhere near the stratosphere you live in, but the directors I've always admired, I love Coppola.
Oh, sure.
Scorsese, Sidney Lumet, love Sidney Lumet, Spielberg, of course. And I've often said this has nothing to do with the subject matter, but I think that The Godfather, Coppola's first Godfather, is probably the greatest American movie ever made. That movie is so layered and so nuanced on levels that people don't understand. There's a scene where Michael, and you know the movie better than I do, the scene where Michael is in that cafe with the police captain and Sollozzo, and you hear in the background, you hear that elevated train somewhere. It's turning. You hear the metal on metal screeching. That is so nuanced because if you get to his life is also turning a corner. I don't know how many people, if that's pay attention to those sorts of things, but it's such a great subliminal touch. And really, that movie is as close to being flawless as the American dream turned inside out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. His use of sound design. Well, the best thing is when you have sound design that people aren't thinking about, they're just feeling. They're just experiencing, and that's that kind of stuff you're talking about. That's what we tried to do, like Sorna brought up. That's what we tried to do as well with my film, is we use sound design to enhance the story and really enhance the spiritual warfare going on too with the angel and the demon, and the difference between and the theme of are you hearing with your ears?
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening to the signs that the angel is bringing to you, or are you listening to the negative demon voice?
And to bring it full circle with what we started out from the beginning, Dennis actually wrote a few songs for the film.
That's
and
right.
You can hear him perform it in there a few times, George, as well.
Right. Well, I've taken up enough of your time, Mark. Best of luck on this monumental accomplishment. I want to get off the phone because I want to get my tickets for Friday.
Great. Thank you, George.
Well, George, I was going to make did you hang up?
No, he's here.
Okay.
No, I'm still here.
I just want to make a comment. This is Mark's dad, and I have to take some credit for his interest in movies. When you started talking about old movies, I used to have him watch an old movie, he said, Dad, it's another old movie. And I said, give me 15 minutes and I'll turn it off. And two ones that he wouldn't let me turn off were Stylock 17 and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, God. Love them both. Seen them both 1,000 times.
And then he'd ask me, what's going on? And I just said, well, you got to wait and see. Wait and see.
Well,
absolutely.
Stylock 17, of course, William Holden. And I grew up watching old movies, too. I'm 67, so the movies weren't as old then as they are now, but Starlight 17, William Holden won an Academy Award for that film. He was great. But do you know who originally they wanted and was cast for that part?
Who?
Kirk Douglas.
Oh, really?
Kirk Douglas turned that movie down. Kirk Douglas turned down two movies that ended up winning an Academy Award for Best Actor. He turned down Starlight 17, and he turned down the lead in Capaloo, which Lee Marvin won an Academy Award.
Oh. Well, I don't know how he would have done. Kirk Douglas is a favorite actor of mine. I'm sure he would have done very well, but who they did cast, I don't think he could have improved on
William
their
Holden was,
he
was great. So, well, I could talk to you guys all afternoon. Good luck, and I'll be listening in.
Nice talking to you, George.
Thanks, George.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the film. You can go to forprofitfilm.com and see where it is playing. Here soon, they will add to that the Classic Cinemas in Carpentersville. But South Barrington is one of them. But you guys are actually going to do another Q&A at the River East 21. That's the AMC River East in Chicago. That is 322 East Illinois Street downtown. And you guys are actually doing a Q&A after those air.
Right. This Friday, 7 p.m. at the River East, we're going to have a Q&A with some of my cast and crew. I'm actually going to be in Charleston for the premiere, holding down the fort in Charleston, where I live with my wife. But I will be back for the Sunday screening in Chicago at 3 p.m. at the River East. So we're doing two screenings, two Q&As. It's really exciting, and we're also doing some. My dad's going to be there as well. He's going to be repping
Friday.
He's going to be there Friday, and he's going to be there Sunday. I think I'm going to throw him on the Q&As because he's an executive producer as well. But we're also doing really cool giveaways. So if you come, get your tickets for the River East, 7 p.m. on Friday or 3 p.m. on Sunday this weekend. We're giving away free mugs.
Wow.
Stay for the Q&A. You get your mug as long as supplies last.
That's amazing. And even then, out in the world, there are for-profit T-shirts out in the world. I believe we still have some here at 16 Douglas. But again, while supplies last. You don't want to be one of those people that doesn't have one.
No.
Because here's what's going to happen. In 4 or 5 years, when people are walking the streets of Elgin, I'm going to see that for-profit T-shirt floating around, and I'm going to be like, hey, there you go. You know that was filmed here. Oh, really? That's amazing. I got this T-shirt because I watched a neat movie once.
There you go.
So this is going to be great. We're going to hit one more break before we hit the end of the hour. Get your questions ready, 847-931-1410. We are talking with Mark Stewart Iverson, the writer and director of For Profit Film, and his father, the executive producer as well. forprofitfilm.com is where you need to go to know all about it and where you can get your tickets. AMC South Barrington 24's got it. AMC River East is the way to go for the Q&A afterwards. And if you are up in Carpentersville, check out the Classic Cinemas that are there. We'll be right back. WRMN 1410. Stay tuned.
WRMN has been serving Elgin and the Fox Valley for 75 years, featuring a combination of local news, information, and entertainment in the mornings, followed by the radio shopping show for 5 hours each weekday. The first shift with Marky B starts your morning at 6 a.m., and it's always fun when Larry Jones is a part of the show.
Maybe we need to get a radio intern in to help.
Maybe so.
Somebody that you won't have to pay and you can treat them tough.
I can haze them.
Can't haze. You'll get fired. Remember that guy from Northwestern?
Yeah.
Gone.
Did he really do it?
You don't have to really do it. If somebody says you did,
yeah,
good enough. Maybe I'm going to accuse you of hazing me. I don't have to prove it.
And then there'll be a lot of people that come out of the and say that I also hazed
I remember when Mark hazed me. I've been hazed.
Mark hazed me back in 2012.
2012. I remember in Memphis one time. He was really mean to me.
It's first shift fun and information in the morning, combined with the radio shopping show to save you money. And you get it right here on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook, and WRMN1410.com.
In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast right here on WRMN, 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Noory with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Everyone has a community to lean on. A neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. You've talked with your kids and shared clear expectations, but you're not with them every minute. Your community members, friends and relatives, teachers and coaches, faith leaders, and other important adults in your kids' lives can be your eyes, ears, and a supportive influence when you're not around, reinforcing your messages with your kids and alerting you to warning signs of underage drinking or other substance use. So talk with your kids about these issues and involve the members of your community to help keep your kids safe, because when you talk, they hear you.
Clocking out? Drive home with the Drive Time Deal with Matt McNeil on WRMN 1410 AM every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. I bring you the hottest deals in town, the most intriguing stories, and the tracks that take the edge off rush hour. Tune in on 1410 AM. Catch us on YouTube Live at WRMN Radio or stream through our app. I've got the wheel to steer your evening right. WRMN 1410 AM, your home of radio shopping and the soundtrack to your commute.
Rise and shine, Fox Valley listeners. It's time to kickstart your day with First Shift with Marky B on WRMN 1410 AM. From 6 to 9 a.m., join the chatter that gets you clued in with the latest buzz around town. Don't just sip on your coffee. Let Marky B brew your morning with the perfect mix of news, views, and moves. Dial us in or live stream at WRMN1410.com and make your mornings a whole lot brighter. WRMN 1410 AM. We're the voice of the Valley, and we're here to talk.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. Fake sneakers, fake cosmetics, and even fake pills. Crooks are selling counterfeit versions of just about everything. Last year, billions of dollars worth of counterfeit products were sold in the U.S. Sure, it may seem like saving a few bucks on the things you want isn't a big deal, but counterfeits are usually made in unsafe conditions, potentially using hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you've paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals and may support child labor, drugs, and even gangs. Smells like big crime to me. So if you still think buying fake products is harmless, think again. And remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart, buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at McGruffPSA.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Discover the authentic taste of Italy at Mazziano's Pizza and Pastaria at Route 20 and Nestler in Elgin. There is one true fact of everyday life that never dulls: the simple pleasure of eating great Italian food. At Mazziano's, they'll make sure your dinner or lunch will be the best part of your day. Whether you have a taste for pizza or any of Mazziano's homemade Italian recipes, like ravioli or lasagna, they can also cater your party. Enjoy it any way you like: delivery, carry out, or dine in. Visit Mazzianos.com. Keeping your car's coolant system in good shape with a regular flush is really important. Let the experts at Meineke Car Care Center at 376 Sundown Road in South Elgin remove your old coolant, preventing chemical buildups in your engine. Then they'll fill your entire system with new coolant to help your engine run smoothly and prevent rust and corrosion, increasing your engine's lifespan. To schedule your appointment, call 847-888-9644.
Welcome back to WRMN. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I'll be taking you through the rest of the hour. The rest of the show's only got about 10 minutes left. But that's okay. It's going to be a great 10 minutes because I'm telling you about a fantastic movie I watched. Now, we usually talk movies. We talked about the Blues Brothers last week. We even talked about Ferris Bueller last week. It was mostly Chicago stuff. Now we can add Elgin, forprofitfilm.com. I've got the writer and director, that would be Mark Stewart Iverson, and his father, executive producer, sitting in with me today. Thank you again both for finishing this hour with me. It has been a journey since you premiered last week, and it's only been a couple days. It's not even a full week yet.
Yeah.
My goodness, how has the response been since you dropped it here in Elgin?
Fantastic. We had a lot of people who hadn't seen the movie, even who were in the movie. And we had a early first screening ever that was public, was an early cut of the film a couple years ago at the First United Methodist here in Elgin. And so we had a few people there that saw the film then. But again, it was an early cut, and we made some improvements since. But the response was fantastic. I mean, it was overwhelming. My heart was filled with joy. Everybody really genuinely responded to the film. And I think it is one of those films that does play very well on the big screen with the big sound, and everybody felt that. I try to stay objective as much as I can, and I certainly don't think, as our buddy here, George, was saying, there are the classics, there are the Godfathers, your Citizen Kanes, and your It's a Wonderful Lifes. But I do really strive to make great film and really great cinema. And I think it playing in that theater, 200-seat theater at the Elgin Marcus, we almost packed the house, and the energy was there. I think everybody really felt that this was working as a theatrical film. And many people, including a lot of the interns that you guys brought, they came up to a lot of us after. And we're saying things like, this doesn't look like an independent film.
Yeah.
This sounded and the picture and everything just really felt something like something beyond independent film, and that was a huge compliment. I really loved the response. A lot of people, my folks brought a lot of their friends, so we had some of the a bit of the senior citizen crowd, but we also had the young crowd, the 20s. We had kids there, we had teenagers there, and I think everybody was responding to it, and it really felt fantastic.
And I think it's because a lot of your movie feels inclusive. It doesn't feel like, let's bash on the young or let's bash on the old it feels like this is a message for everybody already, not even for the inclusion in the cast that you've got, but also some of the dialogue that you've got in there. Nowhere in the show is there anybody that's trying to push anybody else out.
Yeah.
Even in the entire movie, it's all about the inclusivity of everything, and that's why they want to save all of the different programs in the city and everything, because it's the entire community that's coming around. It isn't one group versus another group. This is accountability. And it's accountability for self, it's accountability for your community, and it's accountability for the government and everything else that's there. Nowhere in there was it, oh, no, we've got to keep these people away or we've got to do that. So the feeling of inclusivity in that is really, really well. Was there certain things that you saw that when you were kind of smoothing out the rough edges on the take where you were like, oh, wait a minute, this may feel a little bit too exclusive. Let's see if we can open this side up. Was there a part in the film that you said we have to open it up right here because this is a pivotal moment?
A lot of those, yeah, we had a lot of those moments. I mean, a lot of that was worked out in post-production for sure. On set sometimes too, making sure that scenes play out so that they work for a wider audience, that they have the good comedy and the good drama in there. One of the things that me and my producing partner, Rico, who plays the demon, and Rico Natali, what we talked about a lot is making sure that this, yes, is a faith movie. It works in the faith genre, absolutely. But that this works as a movie first and foremost. And that's the inclusivity that we really tried to have, is that you don't have to be a person of faith to enjoy the film. And we're not trying to necessarily convince you to be a person of faith. This is a story of faith. And everybody struggles with whatever that means to them, faith, whether it's faith in themselves, faith in their community, faith in a higher power, all that.
Yeah, I don't think there was one shot in the movie that where they said, well, we're not going to worry about this group of people or that group of people. Exactly. They worried about everybody and wanted to make sure that everyone's needs were met.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was something I thought about a lot in the script as well, and casting, keeping everybody, diverse and it feeling like a real slice of America. But also, we have in this film, it's not just a bunch of atheists, or it's not just a bunch of believers too. There's a lot of people in this characters in the film who are don't believe, and that's okay. A lot of the actors who I cast too, they're not necessarily wouldn't call themselves a person of faith, but they understood the inclusivity of the story, and they understood that this story is universal, and that we're just working within genre elements. One of the things that you have to understand about, especially modern filmmaking, is especially independent modern filmmaking, is that if you're not working within the genre, the only way to do that is to make your own genre. If you're Quentin Tarantino and you have your own genre and you don't have to work within other genres, okay, that's great. But you have to start, somewhere. And for me, with my first film, I did want to, monetarily, I made a decision in looking at the financing and said, okay, I do think we should work within some genre elements, and having those faith elements is important for the business, but also important to this specific story. Yeah. It really works for the struggle of our main character.
I'm going to kind of disagree with you for a second. When you said some of the people weren't believers, doing all the food and stuff and talking to the people off script, they came up to me with a lot of questions about faith. A lot of them I couldn't answer. I didn't know. But most of them seemed open to be believers. No one came up to me and says, I don't believe in this, but I'm just doing it for the acting.
And not to disparage you or anything like that, because I know we put you up for with Scorsese and Burton and everybody else, but to me it was more of like and you say you're 90s kid, a Angels in the Outfield type of flavor to it. Sure. Where it was still a spiritual message, but it wasn't heavy-handed in you need salvation. Salvation message is good and it needs to be out there, but are you listening message, I think, was so much more powerful in this film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Angels in the Outfield, great reference.
Just that kind of style. The Soto family says it was a pleasure meeting the cast and watching the movie. Al Cox also comes in just at this last moment. Where did you find your angel information? Where did you do your research on angels?
Oh, on the internet. I mean, I definitely obviously went to scripture, but I did a lot of diving deep into pastors and other theologians' take on scripture. And it is very diverse. I mean, when you look at the representation of angels in Scripture, it is wide-ranging. And there's also a lot, I even mentioned in the movie, the Archangel Raphael is our character, and that angel is not actually named specifically in most canonical Bibles. It's the book of Tobit that actually names that angel, Raphael, and that is not in all denominations' Bibles. So there is a lot to unpack when it comes to angelic beings and spiritual warfare, and the other side, so to speak, of reality. But it is also something where, when you do that, you just really start to get deeper and deeper into God's kingdom and the understanding of spirituality. And it was great. It was wonderful.
No matter how shallow or how deep you want to get, there's always an answer somewhere in the Bible there. ForProfitFilm.com. Check it out. AMC River East in Chicago's the way you want to go, so you can be part of that Q&A. Of course, AMC South Barrington is there, and if you're in Carpentersville, the Classic Cinemas. It drops Friday. Get your tickets. You can buy tickets ForProfitFilm.com. We will see you all later. Thanks for listening to Out to Lunch. This is WRMN 1410 AM.
The lightest, fluffiest pancakes are calling your name at JoJo's Diner, 1935 West Gulf Road in Schaumburg. JoJo's has a huge breakfast menu featuring skillets, eggs Benedict, and so much more. Don't stop at breakfast. JoJo's also offers great burgers, sandwiches, and shakes. And for mouth-watering prime rib, try JoJo's for dinner. They have such a versatile menu. JoJo's